In history, few figures have undergone such a transformation in public perception as Queen Mary I of England. From her earliest days as a pawn in diplomatic negotiations to her reign as the first female monarch of England, Mary's appearance, education, and accomplishments have been the subject of fascination and commentary. Hello, I'm Hannah, and welcome to my history channel. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe, and if you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and share this video with a friend. And join me as we delve into the intriguing tale of Queen Mary I and the changing portrayal of her image throughout her life. Our journey begins in 1522, when Mary was just 7 years old. The Imperial Ambassador, let's go with that, offered the first glimpse of her appearance, describing her as pretty and very tall for her age. However, it seems either Mary experienced a growth spurt that didn't continue, or Lachelux had a limited understanding of children's development. Other descriptions painted a, let's say, different picture, as she was often described as short and small for her age, as is evident in a report to Emperor Charles V that year. She promises to become a handsome lady, although it is difficult to form an idea of her beauty, as she is still so small. Despite the ambiguity in her height, there was no doubt that Mary possessed at least one striking feature: her hair. After a dance performance, King Henry VIII himself removed her cap, revealing a profusion of silver tresses, as beautiful as ever seen on human head, fell over her shoulders. Interestingly, it seems that her hair would later darken, as seen in her red-headed portrayal in later images. Her father would even describe her as a right lusty princess. Mary recognised the power of art in conveying a message about kingship. She was meticulous about her depictions in the Coram Regia, King's Court rolls, and Exchequer rolls. The earliest believed representation of Mary dates to around 1525, a miniature painted by the court artist Lucas Hornbout, known for similar works featuring her parents. Another intriguing sketch, labelled The Lady Mary After Queen, attributed to Holbein, depicts a young woman wearing an English hood, which is often associated with Jane Seymour. There is a striking resemblance between this and to the Hornbout image, hinting at a shared sitter, although the Holbein sketch portrays her as about a decade older. However, the most iconic image of young Mary is this one from 1544, likely painted by Master John, who received £5 in November of that year for this portrait of My Lady's Grace in a table being the word for painting. It now resides in the National Portrait Gallery in London, along with a portrait of Mary's stepmother, Catherine Parr, which is also believed to have been painted by Master John. The next significant portrayal of Mary came in the Family of Henry VIII dynastic painting at Hampton Court Palace. This would be the last portrait of Mary during her father's reign, and as far as we are aware, Mary didn't have another portrait commissioned until her own reign. The political landscape for Mary was pretty turbulent during her brother's reign, to say the least, so maybe she didn't deem it suitable to do so. And, well, Jane's reign? 13 days wouldn't be long enough, and let's be honest, Mary had other priorities like getting her throne back.
That was fast.
In this grand composition, Mary stands taller than her sister Elizabeth, and is on her father's right, but she's also carefully distanced from her family. And although Jane Seymour is depicted, she had already passed away at the time of this work. Mary's fashion sense often clashed with Spanish sensibilities during her reign. She preferred the French style, which some considered gaudy and over-decorated. One Spanish observer even criticised her appearance, describing her as small and rather flabby than fat.
I heard that, you nasty.
And lamenting her dress choices. But then again, is this because she was wearing a French style over a Spanish style, and was he incensed at that choice? The full observation reads as such: the Queen is not at all beautiful, small, and rather flabby than fat. She is of white complexion and fair, and has no eyebrows. She is a perfect saint and dresses badly. All the women here wear petticoats of coloured cloth without admixture of silk, and above come coloured robes of damask, satin or velvet, very badly cut.
The cheek, the nerve, the gall, the audacity and the gumption.
This criticism may have influenced Mary to adopt different styles, as seen in this painting, likely by Eworth, showcasing her in Italian fashion, a closed gown with fitted sleeves, which would become fashionable in the late 1550s. Unfortunately, Mary wouldn't make it that far, so you could say that she was ahead of her time in that regard. As Mary married Philip of Spain, her depictions began to include her consort. 2 portrait renditions of Mary and Philip exist. One, often criticised for its lack of artistic perspective, shows them with a tiny dog at her feet, potentially dating from 1554 to 1555, or even the summer of 1557. Although, quite frankly, people really shouldn't hate on this that much because it's better than my stick man. Mary's appearance was commented upon again during her own reign by the Venetian ambassador Giovanni Micheli, while he was at court. Also, that's just an amazing name to say, I love that. She is of low rather than of middling stature, but, although short, she has not personal defect in her limbs, nor is any part of her body deformed. She is of spare and delicate frame, quite unlike her father, who was tall and stout. Nor does she resemble her mother, who, if not tall, was nevertheless bulky. Her face is well formed, as shown by her features and lineaments, and as seen by her portraits. When younger, she was considered not merely tolerably handsome, but of beauty exceeding mediocrity. At present, with the exception of some wrinkles, caused more by anxieties than by age, which makes her appear some years older, her aspect, for the rest, is very grave. Her eyes are so piercing that they inspire not only respect, but fear in those whom she fixes them. Although she is very short-sighted, being unable to read or do anything unless she has her sight quite close to what she wishes to pursue or to see distinctly. Her voice is rough and loud, almost like a man's, so that when she speaks, she is always heard a long way off. In short, she is a seemingly woman, and never to be loathed for ugliness, even at her present age, without considering her degree of queen. But whatever may be the amount deducted from her physical endowments, as much more may with truth, and without flattery, be added to those of her mind, as besides the faculty and quickness of her understanding, which comprehends whatever is intelligible to others, even to those who are not of her own sex. A marvellous gift for a woman. She is skilled in 5 languages, not merely understanding but speaking 4 of them fluently: English, Latin, French, Spanish, and Italian, in which last, however, she does not venture to converse, although it is well known to her, but the replies she gives in Latin, and her very intelligent remarks made in that tongue, surprise everybody. He goes on to describe how she is skilled in needlework, embroidery and music, particularly with the clavichord and the lute, so excellently that, when intent on it, she surprised the best performers, both by the rapidity of her hand and by her style of playing. Giovanni also points out how she is like other women, being sudden and passionate, and close and miserly, rather more so than would become a bountiful and generous queen.
Nah, yo, hold my poodle. Hold my poodle.
He then continues to say how she is brave and resolute, courageous, and that neither in adversity nor peril did she ever even display or commit any act of cowardice. On the contrary, a wonderful grandeur and dignity, knowing what became of the dignity of a sovereign as well as any of the most consummate statesmen in her service. So that from her way of proceeding, and from the method observed by her, and which still perseveres, it cannot be denied that she shows herself to have been born of truly royal lineage. I know that last passage was less about her physical appearance and slightly off on a tangent, but I felt compelled to highlight this as it shows us so much more about Mary as a human being and as a ruler, and how she took her role of queenship very seriously. Giovanni also mentions Mary's infamous menstrual problems and the physical and mental stress that she suffered. She is also subject to a very deep melancholy, much greater than that to which she is constitutionally liable, from menstruous retention and suffocation of the matrix to which for many years she is often subject, so that the remedy of tears and weeping, to which from childhood she has been accustomed, and still often used by her, is not sufficient. She requires to be blooded either from the foot or elsewhere, which keeps her always pale and emaciated. In the changing appearance of Queen Mary I, we witnessed not just a transformation of her physical portrayal, but a reflection of the complex political and cultural landscape of her time. From a young princess to a reigning queen, Mary's image evolved, leaving behind a legacy that continues to intrigue and captivate us today. Thank you for joining me on this fascinating journey through the shifting image of Queen Mary I. If you enjoyed this video, then don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more historical insights. But until next time, have a wonderful day.